I hope you guys will find something, good about the information I'm giving you here. Obviously, going into this, I will specify that just because you do all of these things does not guarantee that anything will happen. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, if you do everything that I say here, it will work. You have a higher chance for it to work. Obviously, there are differences in each individual creator's journey and how they start their community or build their community. But that is today's topic. Today's topic is community building. Up. Okay. Hi. Yes, there will be a test. There will actually not be a test, but it would be really funny if there was a test. So just pretend that there is, so that you'll hopefully you'll continue to remember this information long into whatever you're doing. Yes, yes, yes. So, wait. I forgot to change. We have to leave the classroom. Well, not leave the classroom. We have to look at the board. Okay? We have to look at the board. Okay? So today's topic is community building. You might be like, what is community building? What is a community? How do I get one? You'll learn all of that. You'll learn all of that here. My name's Rainy. Hello, I'm your local magical gal. I've been a streamer and a VTuber for roughly 5 years and a content creator for roughly 19 years. So a long time in this space, going through different types of content, different types of monetized hobbies. My content focuses on community, bringing people together, sharing our passions, and experiencing new things together. It's very important to me that I get to do things I want to do, and hopefully other people will want to join me for doing things that they want to do. I want a community. Yo, me too. But I have one. It's great. So I will specifically be talking about my Discord server, however, and Discord as a community, because I think it is the easiest. However, I also will go over, if you don't want to use Discord, if you don't want a Discord server, how you can start your community and grow a community off of Discord, because Discord is not the only place that you can have a space. I just think it's one of the easiest to bring people together. So, but in terms of my Discord, I use it as a main hub because some people don't like other socials. Like, I have some people in my space that are like, yeah, I don't really use Twitch, or I don't really like YouTube streams, or I don't really use Twitter. I only use Blue Sky, things like that, right? So for me, Discord is a way to bring every single person together, because in this day and age in 2025, most people have a Discord. Most people just do. Skype used to be very popular. Now Skype is dead. So it's Discord time. But yeah, because most people tend to have that, it's, a much easier way to be like, hey, everybody, this is where, if you don't use all these other socials, if you just want to know about the content that I'm making or be a part of the things that I'm doing, here is the space to be. And I know some people are like, I don't want to deal with handling a Discord server. That's a lot of work. It is a lot of work, but so is having a community at all. So it just kind of feels like part of it for me. I big agree. I do miss the Skype days, but luckily Discord has all those niches, My Discord server here actually only started with 3 members. It was myself and 2 of my friends. And eventually I opened it up to be like, you know what? I think this will be where I want to, have my content creation be focused on, in terms of letting people know what's going on. So even if you just have a friend server or something like that, you're like, okay, you know what? I'm ready to make this a bigger deal. You can totally do that. I personally attribute a lot of this to promoting the server, giving people things to do. But another big reason is that I myself am active in the server. I can be seen talking in the server. I can be seen putting together movie nights. It's me who's doing it, not my moderators. Not that my moderators can't do things like that, but I try and make sure that my presence as the owner of the Discord, and a lot of the reason why people are here, is that I make myself known that, hey, I'm here. And there's a lot of that could be like, well, I don't really want people talking to me that are weird. And you know what? That's where bans come in. You can kick people out of your server. You can kick people out of your community. If there are people that make you uncomfortable, that's an entirely other talk. But if there are people that make you uncomfortable, or people that don't follow your rules, do not be afraid to kick them from your spaces. That I think was one of the hardest things to learn, but it also cultivates your community and your space. Because as the owner of the server, of the owner of your, streams, you are the leader that people are going to look towards for what is required, what is expected. And so it's very important that if you don't like what someone's doing, that you have either yourself handle it or a moderator handle it, because that is going to cultivate your community to be more of what you want. It's like on a plant, you're cutting off the pieces of the plant that don't really work or are kind of hurting it. Um, so that you can have a stronger plant. That is our community. That is our plant. Okay. So I think anyone can grow a server or grow their spaces, can grow their audience. It's not easy to do. But I hope that, by seeing that my server started with like literally just 3 people and has grown to so many, it has taken 5 years, but that's still a lot for me. I know it's not as explosive as some other people, but I think it is still growth that is worth celebrating. So, some examples. Over the last 5 years, technically, I've had my Instagram at the bottom right since 2013. But I did not actually have a lot of growth until more recently when I started VTubing. This is just to show you that, like, I started my Twitter brand new. I started my Discord server brand new. I started my Twitch channel brand new. And over the course of 5 years, I have cultivated a space and a community of people that like to show up to my streams, to movie nights, to um, really anything. And it's important to recognize that your community can start anywhere. It does not have to start in a Discord server. And I actually recommend that it doesn't, because if you want people to join a Discord server or to join another space, if you have another area of the internet that you bring people together, they have to have a reason to come together. Which brings me to, what is a community? Well, community can be many definitions, but it usually means a group of people that feel similarly or have similar interests. Types of communities, such as like Dead by Daylight, has a community, right? It's a bunch of people that love Dead by Daylight, a bunch of people that love Final Fantasy 14. VTubers themselves are a community, even if there are like smaller communities within each, like, I don't know, specific thing, right? So you'll have like, man, the community of VTubers, but then in there you'll have each individual VTuber that has their own community, that has their own niche things that they like to do. So it's kind of like the Russian nesting dolls. You got your big community, and then in there you have smaller ones. And so I am a smaller community within like the content creator sphere, which I guess would technically be inside the VTuber sphere, because the VTuber sphere is within the content creator sphere. So it's getting down to the things that you like that matter to you. And that will be why people want to join your space instead of someone else's, right? If someone else is like really interested in horror games or multiplayer, I don't know, multiplayer games, and there's like people who are like, I'm not really into multiplayer games, or this creator's too loud for me, or I don't know, they're just not as exciting for me. Like, I need a space that has all the things that I want. I was trying to think of a different type of multiplayer game that's not horror related, but I couldn't think of one. Oh, shooters or something. So in my space, I tend to like push for things that I really like, because most people that are in this space are here because of some relation to me as a creator, whether they just like my videos, or they actively come to streams, or they like my art or my cosplay. There's many things that I personally do, but the main thing that keeps them here or makes them want to be here is me. And then like secondary is the space that has been created, right? So even if they maybe joined because they found it through me, does not mean that they won't stick around. Like, they will want to hopefully we want them to stick around more for the people that are there and the vibes. Yeah, exactly. The vibes that are there and all of that, right? So even if the initial thing is like, man, I joined for this, like, because this creator, but I stayed because of the space they've cultivated, the space that they've made possible with like the moderation team, the things they talk about, the things that are allowed, the things that are not allowed. That's what really brings people together and makes the space that sticks. Yeah, for a streamer or VTuber, their community is usually their fan base. That's usually how it starts. This is because all your fans have one common interest, which is you as one of their favorite creators. So even if that's the start, maybe it grows from there. That's what we want, hopefully. I'm happy that in my space, in my Discord, even in my streams, I'll see people interacting. I've seen people become friends. I've seen people start dating because they joined my space, and now they got to know other people through that. It's very, very sweet. Well, you're a mod. You're a mod right now, Zane. Um, up, up, up. So how do you start a community? By the way, I will make this PowerPoint available after the stream is done if you'd like to look back at it. How to start a community. A community can start anywhere: Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube, wherever you start or make content. Starting a community requires people to be interested in your space, creating content, networking with other people who have similar interests to you, or posting in other online spaces, and specifically being a leader. Now, obviously, let's say that you are a brand new streamer. Let's say you don't even have a Discord server yet. You're like, man, I'm a brand new streamer, but I like the fact that all of these streamers that I enjoy have like fan bases that care about them and that show up to their streams. How do I get that, right? That is also community. I want to like stress that it's not just Discord. I am focusing on Discord just because that's where I think most of my fans tend to communicate with one another. But say you're like, I'm just now starting. I just want to you know, be a streamer. How do I even start that part? Well, one of the things that you have to do is if you are new to a space or you're new to creating something, people need to know who you are. If you have no reputation, very few people are going to want to give you a chance because they don't know you. And so that's why it's important for, let's say you really love rhythm games. Let's say you're a rhythm game person and you want to stream rhythm games and that's the thing you want to do. And so you go into other streamers who stream rhythm games, and you interact with their chat. You interact with them on maybe Twitter or Blue Sky. You interact with people who like similar things to you. That's very important because you have to eventually become known. And even if you don't have your own people yet, right? If someone knows you, there's a higher chance that they will be like, oh, wait, I didn't know that you streamed. I'm not saying go into someone's space and be like, oh my God, I'm a streamer. Did you know that I'm a streamer? Yeah, you should come and check out my stuff. It's like, no, just engage with people. And if it happens to come up, it happens to come up. They'll probably check out your, channels if they're linked properly to your account or your Discord user profile or whatever. So what's important is for things that you like, becoming a part of other communities will help you grow your own. One person that I think had an interesting take on this is Disguised Toast. Disguised Toast is like a content creator with millions of fans. I don't know if she's that cool, but he was talking about when he first started streaming and not even streaming, he was just creating videos. Like streaming wasn't even, I don't think, a thing as much yet. But he was like, yeah, so I was really interested in Hearthstone. So I would go onto the Hearthstone Reddit and just post about the videos that I was making or the cool decks that I put together. He became a part of this, he went to another area of the internet, became a part of the space for Hearthstone, and he grew at least early on, based on the fact that he was making Hearthstone content. And he put that content in spaces where people wanted to see it, right? So that's just an example. It's hard, wanting to be like, well, I want to give people VTuber content. It's like, well, VTubing is not its own type of content. It is its own medium. It is not one type of content. Like I am not the same as Chibidoki. I am not the same as Shy Lily. Shy Lily is not the same as Iron Mouse, right? Every single person is different and is going to have their own, niche, the things that they like, the things that they want to do. And so saying, well, I'm a VTuber and that's all that I am. I think you have to go farther down into that and be like, okay, so as a VTuber, what do I do? What exactly is it that I give that is not just being a VTuber? Because that's what's going to help you find the people that want to join your space. Let's say the commonality is rhythm games. If you find other people who enjoy rhythm games and then you play rhythm games with those people, or you do community days where you can battle against them or something like that, that's a way to start getting that community growing, because people will want to stick around if they have a commonality with you. And also if you are giving them time, right? One thing that I think is kind of frustrating is when I see someone's space, maybe their streams or their Discord server or even their Twitter or something, and they don't respond to any messages ever. They, aren't active in their own spaces. They don't even respond to their chatters. And if you have a lot of chatters, that's different. If you have so many, there's no way you can respond to all of them. But I've hopped around smaller streamers or even mid-range streamers, and they just won't be engaging with their audience. It's not like they're busy. They're not really like in a collab. They're not in like even a stressful game. They might just be like playing Animal Crossing and they still won't be engaging with the people. Which, if you're doing a YouTube video, that's one thing. But if you're streaming, that's like the whole point of live streaming is to be able to engage with someone live, which I think is important. And that's going to have, okay, Zaid. I think it's important that we understand that one of the ways to, start a community is by engaging with people. Because why have you joined a space? Why have you enjoyed a streamer, right? Think about those reasons when you're trying to start your own space. What are things you like in other people's spaces that you actively go to? And how would you like to incorporate those things into yours? It requires commitment from you to want to see your community thrive. That's why I say it is a lot of work. Um, um, I'll answer that question at the end if you keep it because I have some thoughts on that. Um, Oh, and no worries, no worries, no worries. Um, no worries at all. But yeah, I have answers to that. But I'll finish this first since we don't have a whole lot left. How to promote your community. Once you've started it, let's say that you have a couple people and you're like, okay, cool, we have 10 people in here. What's next? Right? You're like, okay, but how do I keep it going, right? Well, having links to them, like look to your spaces on your main content channel. So right here I have just my Discord server, but another example is on my Twitter, on my Blue Sky, I make it clear that I have a Twitch. I make that clickable and linkable. I let people know that I have a YouTube. On those platforms, I make sure to keep people updated. I think that's also very important. Having a timer or a command during your streams to let people know where they can also find you, because also your community is not just your Discord server or just your Twitch or just your whatever. It is every single social media that you have and that you engage with, right? So mine is not just my Discord server. It's also my Twitch. It's also my YouTube, my Twitter, my Blue Sky, my Threads, my Instagram. Like it's all of those things together. And I try and keep them all updated and also filter people to the ones that I use the most, right? Because I don't update my TikTok as much as I do my Instagram. So I'm like, when I do post on TikTok, I'm like, hey, by the way, I have an Instagram or I have a Twitch. That's where you can find me more specifically. Talk about it on your videos or your content. If you're like, doing a YouTube video and at the end you're like, oh, by the way, if you liked this video, check out, we also have a Discord server. I also stream on Twitch, whatever that is. Post about it on your socials. Be like, oh, we're having a movie night. I do that. We watched Teen Titans just a couple days ago. So it's like, hey, we're watching Teen Titans season 2. If you like Teen Titans, come on by. You can watch with us. Let people know it exists and how awesome it is to be a part of it. I think that is very important. No, it is not a good idea to go into other people's chats and self-promo. Do not do that. I do not. I unfortunately, I just post on everything alone. So I don't have anything that posts across things. There are things like that, but I do not have experience with those. Because when I did try and use them in the past, sometimes they didn't work right. Sometimes it didn't like post correctly. So I'm not saying they don't work or they don't exist. They do. I just don't have as much experience myself. So I tend to just like, yeah. How to keep people interested in your space. All right. The first thing, this will seem like really, oh, duh, Rainy. Making people feel welcome is super important to cultivating a space where people feel like they want to stay in, okay? Say hello. Be the leader of what is expected, right? Whenever someone new comes into the server, I like to have that thing pop up that's like, hey, say hi, so that other people, not just myself, will be like, hi, welcome to our space. We're happy that you're here. Here are the channels that you can access. Here's what you can share. Feel free to check out any of these things, right? And I don't exactly say all of that, but I want to feel like someone who is new doesn't feel like an outsider. Because I have left spaces, I've left Discord servers, I've left streams where I've said hi or I've said hello and I just get over talked. And obviously, again, you can't say hi to everyone, but also sharing with your audience what is expected, right? So if I can't say hi in chat, I want my audience, my other viewers to say, oh, hello, so-and-so, or be like, oh yeah, Rainy's a little busy right now, but she'll get back to you, like letting people know that you are welcome in this space. And even if like someone can't respond to you immediately, that we've seen you. right? We know that you're there. Keeping things happening, watch alongs, game nights, sitting in voice chat, even just engaging. If you're like, I don't really like talking in voice chat, even just responding to people's messages, right? When I've gone into a space and I've shared something, let's say a piece of artwork, and it just gets ignored or no one even says anything, it's like there's no expectation that someone has to like it or has to sort of react on it, but it feels really good when someone does, right? It's like the expectation is nothing, but it feels nice when something does happen. So I try and, make comments on people's artwork or on people's pictures that they share. Or if I don't, if I don't have time to do that, I try and react to them to let them know, hey, this has been seen. And that doesn't happen with every single thing, but I try and do it often enough because I want people to feel it is like customer service. And I think I have like, oh my God, like 10 years of customer service background, and that's what I like to think about. I've had some people be like, I don't like to think about streaming as customer service. I'm like, actually, it's very important. It's very important. Because even if they're not customers, like obviously your fan base is not necessarily every single person is not necessarily going to pay you, but they are the people that I think you should, as a streamer, do whatever the fuck you want. I think that's like you should do what you want to do, right? But just know that you can't do it alone. You will not be able to succeed without people sharing it, without people commenting on it, without people, being interested in it. And so while I think you should do what you want to do, you should not treat your audience like shit or like they don't matter, because they matter way more than even the content you can put out, because you can put out the best content in the world. But if no one likes it, like no one wants to share it, no one wants to promote it, you're not going to go anywhere. So that's, I think, very important for me as a creator. And so I love when I feel seen and when I feel heard. That probably goes back to trauma of being talked over a lot, but I like to give that to other people as well. So making sure you engage with your audience, taking recommendations for games, movies, music, be a part of the space yourself, and be present. I know I keep kind of like stating that fact, like, hey, you should really be a part of your own spaces, but I do think it's something not a lot of people try to do. And it's a really easy thing. Like if I go into a space and the creator of the space isn't even hanging out there, like why would I want to hang out there? Right? Like if the creator of the space isn't saying hello to people, why would I say hello to anyone? Like you have to be a leader. And I know some people are like, I'm introverted. Yeah, and it's okay if you're introverted, but there are still things you can learn. Being introverted does not stop you from learning new skills as a person. It does make it more difficult, but it does not stop you. It shouldn't stop you. Make sure the space you're using as your community hub is kept up to date. What you are doing content-wise, show them that you're active. It's what makes them want to be active. So like I use my Discord. I let people know, hey, this is when I'm going live. This is when I've posted a new video. This is when, hey, I have, I don't know. If I can't stream for a while or I haven't put videos out for a while, letting people know. I do the same on my Instagram. I update my story. I do the same on my YouTube. I update my community. Like community form thing, just being like, hey, I haven't made new videos in a while. Sorry about that. Here's why. And you don't have to be like super open. You don't have to be, some people are just more private, but just letting people know, hey, I haven't left. I'm still around. I'm just busy, or I've had other things going on. Because if you stop showing up to your Discord server or you stop showing up to your streams, other people are just going to stop showing up because they're like, oh, okay, well, they clearly are gone or they don't care about this as much. So why should I have to care about it? It goes back to, if other people are hyped about it, there's a reason I should be hyped for it. But if no one else cares about it, why should I care about it? That type of mentality. Okay. Please check out my other socials. Now we'll go to questions and answering. You might be like, wow, that was kind of short. Yes, it was short because I want to get to questions, but also I want to, I don't want these to be very long because the last time I did a talk, it was like 10 hours long. And people are like, wow, that was a really long talk. I was like, yeah, because we covered like 80 different topics. But really quickly, let me make it so I can see chat on the screen, and then we will get to questions. Also, these will happen, these types of classes will have a different topic each time, and will happen the first Wednesday of every month unless something comes up. Obviously, I'll be sure to let you guys know if there is something that happens. But well, I'm streaming after this, so I got something to do. But let me see. Hold on. Scuff time. Oh. Is it this one? No. Is it this one? No. Is it this one? Haha. Okay. Let's go like here. Scuff time. Okay. Now I answer questions. If you had any specific questions about anything. Oh, hold on. Hold on. My bad. I'm so large. Sorry. That's not right. Hey. There we go. All right. Hopefully that was like just enough information that is helpful, but you know, that also it wasn't too much. So going back to the question about um question about um I do not. Thank you. That would be great. Stopped out of pings. Yeah. So personally, I don't like to. I love her. I don't like to do a lot of pings, and I feel really bad. Yesterday, I had to do 3 because of I updated my schedule and some other things. I try to keep at everyone's to like once a week, if I can, once a week. I really hate being pinged a lot personally. And then in terms of like streaming, I will usually do the at here because sometimes people do turn off like the actual roles, which is kind of weird. Let's say somebody loves variety. Do you still think it's good for them to find a niche regardless? I do think there should be something that people know you for, like if that makes sense. So in my experience, I started streaming, and when I started streaming, I could only stream console games because my computer at the time could not handle literally anything else. And so I would play console games, and they weren't all the same game, and then I would draw. So the other thing that I did was draw. So I would play like a variety of console games. But then the one thing that people could always come back for would be, oh, well, Rainy draws. And I don't really do a whole lot of drawing on stream anymore, so that's changed. But having something that people know you for. So if it's like, I used to be known for Overwatch. If there was nothing that I thought of doing that day that I could think of that was special, I would play Overwatch. And so having something that even if you're going to do a bunch of stuff each week or a bunch of different things, having one thing or a couple of things that have a similar niche could be helpful. I don't think it's required. I would sacrifice. Wait, I'm sorry. I get nervous to draw in front of people. Other people, that Pokemon is their main thing, but they still prefer to play other games like Mario, Dark Souls. My personal goal is to be kind of similar, at least now. Play a lot of Pokemon, but mix in other games. Yeah, I think it's not a bad thing to have like one thing that people know you for. So for me right now, I would say I'm primarily variety. I've been playing quite a bit of Repo. I play quite a bit of Marvel Rivals when my computer doesn't act up. But I think that being a variety streamer is not a bad thing. I think it's harder at the younger at the lower ranges of like content because of the fact that anyone can really do anything. And if you already have an audience, it's way easier to like change up what you're doing. But I don't think that should stop you because I've always been a variety content creator. And actually, there was a while that I wouldn't call yourself one, though. I think that's important. Don't call yourself just a variety content creator. And I'll tell you why. Because even if you're variety, having a couple of things that you can say, this is what I kind of do, though. Like for me, I say, oh, I'm a content creator who focuses on experiencing stuff with my chatters. Like whatever we're doing, I want to make sure that experience is very fun. So I focus on experiences because if you just say, oh, I'm variety, people don't really know what that means. That could mean anything, right? They could be like, oh, well, what does this person do? Do they play shooters? Do they sing? Do they what do they do? That gives a lot of like questions that are not answered. So it's important for when we are, and this is like an entirely different topic I could go over. When we're promoting ourselves, it's important that we have something that makes people say, okay, I understand what they do from that conversation. I understand what their type of content is or what they try and do with what their content is or what their space is, you know? Exactly. So even if you just add a specific thing, like, oh, my vibe is this. I kind of do a lot of things, but this is kind of what I like to do specifically. Is very helpful. Um, if I'm more of a VC person rather than a text person, would it be beneficial, at least while you're small, to constantly stay in VC or theater? I think VC is better than theater because the theater is used because I don't want other people getting on the mic when I'm doing things like this. Same for movie nights. I tend to we just watch a movie. We used to do movie nights where we were all able to talk, and I realized that is very, very overwhelming. So I stopped allowing people to talk during them. And so what we do instead is we text. Now, if you're like, I'm much better at VCing than I am in text, then I think, spending a lot of your time in your VC is a good thing. Um, yeah. Well, you can technically allow people, set up for people a certain role to be muted in VC. You can do that. That is also true. But I liked the theater being separate. Like, this is where we have movies, this is where we do events, and then this is where, no, you're not getting the aux. And then the other one, the just VC, is for like gaming and stuff. But yeah, if you spend a lot of your time just like hanging out already, like hanging out, doing, I don't know, you're playing a game and you're just sitting by yourself, it might be beneficial to be in a VC. Yeah, because then someone can join you. I will say it can be very discouraging. And I'll tell you an experience of mine. So when I first started my Discord server, actually the very first time I ever did a movie night, and I would say like the first 10 movie nights that I did, it was just me by myself. And you might be like, why did you do so many of them if you were alone? Well, because I wanted people to recognize that this was something I liked to do. And this was something that was going to stick around, even if no one showed up. Right. And I mean, it does feel bad, right, to be alone. But at the same time, you got to start somewhere. Yeah. And so I remember I was very upset. I was like, oh, well, no one came up. But I was like, well, I chose a movie that I wanted to watch anyway. It's not like I chose a movie for other people. Um, so I still got to watch the movie I wanted to do. I got to play the game I wanted to play. I got to do, so that's why I think it's important to, even if you're alone for the start, you should do things that you want to do so you'll still enjoy doing it. But if somebody else gets to show up, then that's also great. I appreciate any help. Or I appreciate everyone that I have, I joined a VC and what the heck is that emote? That is so scary. Why is that so scary? I hate that. Oh my God. That's actually so scary. Hold on, I missed some messages. I've been having trouble finding my niche. I want to post on Instagram, but I don't want my art pieces to just be random. Do you have any tips for finding your niche, especially in art? I think that's difficult. I would say it's a little off topic for what we're talking about today, but also in terms of just general content, I think like having something that you draw or that you promote in terms of your art that is similar. So like some of my favorite creators, example, one of my favorite creators is Bubbles just posts. Sometimes they post their original characters, but most of the time they post Nicktoons art, right? They're drawing Timmy Turner, Jimmy Neutron, Danny Phantom, things like that. So having like a collection is cool. I think one of the best ways to, I don't know, find your niche in art is just to like also go and explore and talk with other artists, which is a big part. Like art is more on the topic of AI. Bleh. Art is more about the process and like the feelings than the final product, in my opinion. I would say the general society doesn't see it that way, but I still think that it's worth, I still think it's worth like talking with other artists and trying to find people that are similar to you, and then maybe you'll have better success in like looking at other artists and seeing what they do and seeing how you want to incorporate what they do, or similarly to how they promote themselves into what you do, so that you can, find that kind of spot for yourself. First of all, thank you for your class notes. My question is regarding creating a community as a discovery server. As a discover server, but the issue is I have no one to actually help me out, IRL friends to mod or recommend. So I will say that for the first, I had 2 people in the server And technically they were moderators, but they didn't really do anything. It was mostly me. I had no moderation actually for the first like 4-ish years, like what's that, 3.5 years of my Discord server. In terms of like safety and starting out, I would recommend looking up videos on how to set up a bot. So like Carl bot, CARL bot is free. I think Yugbus bot, there's like YG something. There are lots of bots that can help you, like that are very easy to set up and free. That you can set up for like moderation of text chat, moderation of like, hey, you don't want to have people posting like porn or something in your stuff. I don't think you can make a discovery server until you have like 1,000 people or 500 people. It's one of those. But in terms of just like having a server to start with, I think setting up your basics for um, channels, having like onboarding and or some sort of like, hey, you have to react to this to be able to get access to the server, to keep people safe and yourself safe. Maybe for in the beginning, turning off DMs from the server is really important, because you don't want random people just like coming from your server and DMing you, because there's a lot of like random bots that might be scams. So but if you don't have IRL people to help you, unfortunately, the only advice I can give is just you have to like look up how to start on your own. But I was able to do that. Even if you just have someone that looks like they're a moderator, like my mods didn't really do much because I didn't give them anything to do as well. I didn't have expectations of them because it's also volunteer work. And so at the beginning, I didn't even know if I was going to do this for very long. And then I found out that I love it so much. And so I was like, I never want to do anything else if I can. But now I have like, I let my mod team know, hey, these are things that I'd like to happen. Here's what you're allowed to do. Here's what we should look out for. But in the beginning and for the first like 2 or 3 years, I barely had any actual moderation. And even when I had moderators, they didn't really do much because they didn't have any, what's the right word? Direction from me. And so now my mods have a lot of direction. So when starting out, would you really consider it necessary to post on social media as well as on your primary platform? For example, Twitch, or would Twitch and a community gathering platform still be enough? I think that one, obviously having your main platform is important, whether that's Twitch, YouTube, whatever. But then, uh, I think it's worth posting on other platforms such as Twitter or Blue Sky or Instagram, because of the fact that Twitch is not super discoverable and YouTube can be discoverable, but you have to be actively in other people's comment sections, actively, taking part. And I think that Blue Sky and Twitter do better for networking. Whereas I think Twitch and YouTube are best for posting content. Now, I don't think it's required. I've seen very many people that do really well on Twitch, and they just have a Discord server and their Twitch, and they do well. I just don't know how they did that. I'm going to be honest. Maybe there was luck there. Maybe they knew someone, but I don't know how that worked. I've only seen success by also using at least one. So even if you only have one, if you're like, you know what, I want to use Blue Sky, or I want to use Twitter, or I want to use Instagram, having your main platform, your hub where people are going to be, and like where you want to bring people together, and then like one other social media is probably enough. Like I have everything. That is not required. I do not recommend that, especially if it's a lot. It's exhausting to post on all of those almost daily. So I wouldn't really recommend that to people, especially starting out. I had my Instagram, I had Twitch, and eventually I had my Discord. So I only had 3. I didn't even use Twitter originally. And I made a newer Twitter after I kind of found out that I really wanted to do streaming in 2021 as a full-time thing. So, oh no, it's okay. It wasn't that off topic. We're still talking about content. I just, I didn't prepare as much about like finding your niche specifically. Before I want to go with more collabs, I want to establish a schedule with a strong brand. What would be a way to grow a small community alone before eventually getting into collabs? I started my community on Discord and Twitch before I really did collabs, because my computer again couldn't handle it. So the first like year of streaming, 7 months. I think it was like 7 months before I got a new computer. I just focused on my own stuff, right? So I didn't have any money either. It was 2020. So I would draw my own stuff. I was like trying to promote myself as a streamer because originally I had made YouTube videos in the past and I was a cosplayer, but I was like, well, I need people to want to come by my stream. So I would post on my Instagram. At the time I had like, I think 3,000 followers on Instagram. And I didn't see a lot of people liking my stories or coming from Instagram, but I still thought it was important. I also used to post on Facebook. I don't recommend posting on Facebook anymore, especially if you're a VTuber, because obviously posting on Facebook, gets people to that you might not want to know your personal information and now that know that you're streaming. But back in the day, my name is not super private. I'm not going to say what it is, but I didn't mind if people called me by my normal name, my IRL name. But now I just go by Rainy. So I don't really promote myself there anymore. But at the time, I was trying really hard to just post anywhere that I could, saying, hey, I'm trying this new thing. I would really love if you stuck around or tried to come in. I was also trying to hit affiliate. So I needed just some people to sit with their computers in my stream so I could hit affiliate. So I think that there's nothing wrong with doing collabs before. But again, people probably won't want to collaborate with you if they don't really know you. So having your what's it called? Having some sort of reputation is going to get you those collabs and also be better because if you do a collab with someone, their audience, might check out your channel and you want it to look professional. You want it to look like you really care about what you're doing and that you are going to keep doing it. So I think that's important. Okay. How do you balance professionalism with friendliness? I wear my heart on my sleeve. And I love to feel like a family, but I feel like I need to be professional so we all respect each other, especially with other content creators. I just sometimes fear of coming off as distant. For me, I don't think there's anything wrong with being friendly, but also be very clear of your boundaries. So there was a time, just an example of when I had oh God, what was it called? I had a redeem that I didn't really like for a while. And it was like, at first it was fine, but it was called a bully redeem and it would like hit me with a bunch of stuff. And then people started using it very differently and not being very nice about it. And so I just stood up for myself and I said, hey, look, I'm happy you guys enjoy this, but I don't. And so the redeem is going away. I hope you guys are okay with that because I want my streams to be comfortable for me. And I hope that's okay, and it respected me. And I let people know that, hey, it was one of the redeems that I just didn't really care for. In terms of like being nice to people, if they try and get too close to me, I just like to be very clear. Like, hey, it seems like you think our relationship might be closer than we are. I don't really know you that well, but I'm friendly with you. There is a big difference between being friendly and being friends with someone. Because you can be friendly and be friends, but you can also just be friendly and that's it. You can be acquaintances or strangers, but you can still be friendly to those people. I think as long as you're very clear about like, hey, I'm friendly and that's fine to be. Please don't misunderstand my friendliness as anything more than that. Unless, you're starting to talk with someone and you're in their DMs and like you guys are talking together, obviously then you're becoming friends. But just be aware that it's okay to be honest about your boundaries. That does not make you a bad person. That does not make you distant. If someone takes that as you being distant, that's up to them to decide. But you also have to be aware that your space requires you to have your boundaries because that's how I see, and this is a slightly different topic, that's how I see a lot of streamers are like, oh, well, it's normal for the chat to bully or the chat to be like really aggressive with you. I'm like, no, it's not. If someone's too aggressive with me, I tell them that's not okay. And if they're not okay with that, if they think I'm being distant or they think I can't take a joke, then they can fucking leave. That's fine. But what matters most is that I am respected as the streamer. You guys are respected as the chatters. Our space is respected as like a community. And that's the thing that matters the most to me. So I think you can balance both. It just requires you to be open about what your boundaries are and vocal when those boundaries are being crossed. Yes. Also, get Seribot. If you're on Twitch, 100% get Seribot. It's great. It's free. It's very easy to set up. So. Oh, no, it's okay. Sorry. But yeah, no, still worth it to get Seribot if you're in Twitch and to get some sort of bot to help you if you aren't able to do it yourself. setting up a bot to assist you in moderating when you're like not available or if you don't have moderators yet. So big important. I have my server set up where I manually give people a verified role. Yeah, I will say I used to do that as well. I used to have to give each person a verified role, and that was just it became a lot to do eventually. So I don't think it's bad to start that way, but I'd recommend if you don't have to give everyone a verified role, that you don't. The onboarding system for Twitch, or sorry, the onboarding system for Discord is actually really nice because that is how some people actually come in and were like, oh, yeah, I was unable to see the theater. You are not able to see the theater if you don't have the dweller role, which is like our main general role. And so now Discord has a way that you can just allow people to get that. I think you still need a bot. I think you might still need a bot. I use a bot that's paid for. It's Me 6 bot. It is like $80 for life. As somebody who has a server, I bought it many years ago. I think it does a lot of awesome stuff. It does have, I'll just be honest with you, it does have NFT and AI stuff in it. I do not use those, and I bought it before. I bought it before that was even a thing, but I also paid money for it, so I'm not getting rid of it. I'm just to be very open and honest. I turn all of that stuff off. I do not utilize any of that. It's unfortunate that that's even in it, but if you're looking for a bot that's, I don't think has any of that and is free, but has less stuff that you can do. CaroBot, Yigbook bot or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce it, but those bots are great. You can also just look up a video on YouTube that's like best Discord bots. I'm sure there are many topics on it that people have done. So I wish Rainy would give me more work. I feel bad giving you guys work. It's like if you guys want to work, if you guys want to do stuff, that's helpful. How do you go about choosing mods if they're not IRL? None of my mods are, well, okay, I've met almost all of my mods yet. However, most of my mods, except for one of them, I had not met prior to them being a mod. And you might be like, how do you go about doing that? Well, I made a form. I made it like a job interview. It had like, hey, you have to apply for this role. Here's what I'm expecting. And I gave some scenarios like, hey, say you have a chatter or a Discord member who is not, responding to the rules. How would you handle that? And they have to tell me. And the reason I did that way is because I take this very seriously and I'm looking for people who want to help me very seriously. And so if they are serious about wanting to help me, their answers should reflect that. And then I went and the first round, the first people I actually chose ever to be my mods were people I knew in real life or were friends. And then I found out that, no offense to friends, but sometimes friends are not the best moderators because, there's nothing wrong with having your friends as moderators, but sometimes they don't do as much work or they're very busy or, maybe they're their own content creators and that's totally okay. I would never want anyone to feel bad about not being able to help me. But sometimes you need people that are actually there just to help you because they want to help you, not because they feel obligated as a friend. And so a lot of my original IRL friends are no longer my mods because they had their own stuff to do or they were too busy. And so I did it like a job interview. And I gave them questions. I went over the questions. And then when I had some moderators of my own, when my team was smaller, I actually just asked them, hey, what do you think of these people? I also specifically tried to choose people that answered well, that were actively a part of my server or a part of my spaces. Because I did have people apply that I had never seen before. And I'm like, I don't know who you are. Zane is a good example. Katie's a good example. They were both people who were people I knew of because they were in my spaces or in other similar streamer communities. And we started to talk a lot. And I liked the vibe that they gave in those spaces. They applied. They answered their questions very well. So they became moderators. And they're great moderators. So, what if I use Twitter more than and Blue Sky less? That's fine. I personally use my Blue Sky less than Twitter. Some people are special to one or the other. I usually just repost exactly what I put on Twitter onto Blue Sky because to me they're like the same. But I don't think there's anything specific about it. You can use whichever. I also use Blue Sky, but I should probably be more active on it myself. But I haven't been. I've been busy. They're both similar, so double posting is a bit tiring. It is. I feel that. I normally would just copy exactly what I wrote and post it on there, and I just try and do it quick. So someone's asking, what would you do differently if you just started? If I had just started like streaming or my Discord server or both? Because I think what I would do differently is, hmm, I kind of like everything that I did. I think I would have promoted myself earlier on because I used to be really nervous about it. I used to be like, oh man, what? I'll just wait and let people find me. I'll just let people find me on the graces of fate. And it's like, no, no, I think it's okay to do cool stuff and to be open about the fact that you do cool stuff. Obviously, don't go into other people's channels and start posting, but like letting people know that your space is really awesome, and you want to be humble, but also being confident and like, hey, I know that I may not be the best at this stuff, but I'm also very good at what I do. And I think those are different. Being like, hey, I'm the best of the best. There is no one better than me. That's kind of asshole behavior unless you're joking. But like, hey, I know that what I do and what I can give is quality, and that's important. So I'd probably try and have more confidence earlier on. I know confidence is something that you gain over time, and I was a brand new streamer. I mean, I'd done lots of stuff. I've been in theater, I've done improv for a long period of time. I have been a teacher for a couple of years. I've been an activities coordinator for a couple of years. Like I've done a lot of things in front of people, but I was just like streaming was very new to me, even though I had a lot of experience in other aspects. I even had like I have a lot of leadership experience in actual jobs, but I still didn't feel like, man, maybe I wasn't good enough. But realizing that like even if at the time you don't have a super big audience, what you do doesn't mean that you don't are not successful because you're bad. Okay. You are okay. Hold on. How do I write this? There is just because you don't feel successful at the moment does not mean it is bad or that you are bad. It means that you haven't been found yet. Now, there's always room for growth. I still feel like I can grow in other ways. But knowing that like, hey, I think what I do is very cool. I need to just show more people that what I do is awesome. I think that's probably what I do because originally I wasn't like, I would promote a lot, but only on like my own spaces. I wouldn't go and talk to people a lot, which actually works into when you say network, do you mean with other content creators? One, I think that that's important for community building. Yes, if you are a content creator, it is important for you to engage with other content creators because they're like coworkers. I like to think of any content creator in the space as a coworker. Some coworkers you love, some coworkers you hate, some coworkers you don't even know them because they work at the other side of the building, right? So I like to think of them like, oh, we are all coworkers, no matter the size that we are, however many followers, however many, like what circles we know, whatever. But it's still important to engage with the ones that we like or that we feel similarly. So example, going back to the rhythm game example, um, one, having more creators know you means that there's a higher chance someone might want to collab with you. Again, we don't assume. We should not expect people to want to do that. I had somebody early on in my streaming career come into my DMs and go, hey, we should collaborate because we're both VTubers. And I said, oh, I mean, maybe. I've never met you before, and this is a random DM, but I don't know, maybe in the future once I get to know you. And instead of taking that and going, okay, let me talk to her more and spend more time trying to get to know her in her space, the next day he sent me a message, don't leave me on red. I had responded to him, but he was like, we will collaborate. And I was like, no, we won't. You don't get to tell me what the fuck to do. And second, I already told you I need to get to know you first, and I don't know who you are. So it's important, in my opinion, to I don't know why that happened. It's important, in my opinion, to get to know people, not just because it will help your reputation as a creator, but it will also increase visibility to viewers. Because, like, let's say, so last year at TwitchCon, I met some pretty big creators, and we started talking, and they were really, really nice, right? Well, I had already been in their streams as a viewer, but now I was in their streams as like an acquaintance. And so when I would go to their streams, not expecting anything, they would say like, "Oh my God, hi, Rainy, how are you?" And because of that, other people who watch them would go, "Oh, my favorite streamer knows this person. I will check out this person. You know, I'll check out their account. And sometimes they follow, sometimes they don't. But I think that like it's important to not only for increased visibility for viewership or possibly, you know, having people find your space, it's also nice to engage with other coworkers. And I'm going to put that in quotes, coworkers, because coworkers does not mean friends, does not mean acquaintances, does not mean anything. It just means you both do the same thing or similar stuff. So I did change both. I use Blue Sky more often personally, and that's totally fine. That's also why like I think it's important to I like to use Discord as a way, because some people in my Discord actively don't use Twitter. They got rid of their Twitter and they don't want to use it, and that's fine. So I like to post on Blue Sky so they can still engage with me. I like to post on Instagram for people who don't like using other things. You know, I like trying to use whatever I can. And also in my Discord server, there is a section called My Socials. So even if they don't use those socials, they can still see what was posted to those socials without ever having to use it themselves, which I think is great. I need water. Yes. My biggest amount of growth is from joining other people's Discords and being an active member. Yeah, because if you use spaces, somebody will eventually be like, oh man, Zane's so cool. Does Zane stream? Right? And then maybe they'll go to Zane's stream. And also, this is another thing that I think I have to preface, is that no one means bad by saying this, okay? You will eventually, if you are in this long enough, you will get someone who says to you, you are my favorite streamer. I will support you forever. Now, they mean nothing bad by this. They don't mean anything bad by this, okay? However, sometimes there are people who they just changed who they want to watch, or maybe someone vibes with them a little bit better, right? I've had people come into my space, say things like that, or be really active, and then they find another streamer, I raid somebody, and then that's where they like to go instead, right? It does not mean you're bad. It does not mean they don't like you. It just means that they found someone who works better for them as a creator, and maybe does things they like to do a little bit more. So please don't ever take that personally, because it's usually not personal. It's just preference. Like I've had creators that I watch more than other people I used to watch, and some people don't watch me as much, and that's okay. That's kind of part of how things go. It's like how people can unfollow someone or unsubscribe from someone at any time. Our tastes change. Please don't take it personally. Because it's usually not. Just as a preface. Because I have seen people that will be active maybe in my space, and then all of a sudden they're really active in like one of my friends' spaces, and that's okay. Maybe they really like my friend's space more. It is not don't guilt trip anyone. Don't like sad post about it, because I've seen people do that. And honestly, when I see people do that, it just makes me want to leave their spaces even faster, because it feels like I was expected, or some people were expected to stay for them. And it's a lot. And I know it can still feel bad, and that's totally normal to feel bad and to feel negatively about it. But try and not let it hurt your self-esteem too much, because there are probably also people that have joined your space that used to be a part of somebody else's space, and now you're their favorite. That's just kind of part of the course. So yes, I did used to use Facebook with my government name. I did. On Twitch and Discord, but I'm unfamiliar with social media sites like Twitter and Blue Sky. Says wondering if those sites are incorporated into content creation. I think it is. I think they are. A lot of the people that I've met, that like, let's say TwitchCon. At TwitchCon, I met up with a lot of people that I was mutuals with, on Twitter or Blue Sky or something. And that's kind of like a point of opening conversation. We're like, oh, hey, so-and-so, we're mutuals. I see your stuff around, you know? So how many times a week should you stream is important to posting a schedule each week if your schedule is inconsistent. So for me, I think you should stream as much as you can, up to however much you want to. Like obviously if you're a streamer and that's like what you want as your career, eventually, like for me, it's a career. For some people, it's just a hobby. That's fine if it's just a hobby. But I think that it's important to realize that stream is where you going live is how people will find you at first. So let me specify, because you should not be streaming all the time. You should stream as much as you can, but also you have to post outside of Twitch. So you have to clip yourself. You have to post somewhere else, because if you only use Twitch, then you have to hope that people are going to raid you. You have to hope that people are going to randomly find you. I think that if your schedule is inconsistent, posting a schedule could be nice. I used to post a schedule each week, and that became a lot for me to do because I have a lot of other stuff that happens. Like, I am my own manager, I edit my own clips, I do all my own stuff. So I have to also allot myself time to edit those clips and to post them and to communicate with people and responding to commissioners and responding to DMs and responding to opportunities and actively going after new opportunities. So I think it is important to stream. Yes, 100%. I don't think there's like a, oh my God, you should stream this much and that's the perfect amount. I think you should go live if you want to do this 2 to 3 times a week would be good. Even if you're not streaming for a really, really long time, 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 3 times is a good amount. But also making sure you allot some time to, once you have those streams, you can take pieces of those streams and post them elsewhere, because streaming is fun. Streaming is my favorite part to do. I don't really like to do the rest of it. I mean, I like talking to people and I like engaging with people on other socials, but I don't really like editing clips and having to post them and to do that by myself, because it's stressful. It's a lot, but I do it because I want to do this forever. But having some time to take those streams and make them into smaller, digestible content, because most people that don't know you are not going to want to sit and watch an hour long, 2 hour long, 5 hour long stream. They're going to want small snippets that you have posted outside of that, where they can be like, oh, wow, a really funny moment happened with a streamer. I now want to check out their actual stuff. I want to check out their full streams, because maybe that's really, maybe their full streams are just as fun, you know? Collaborating with friends is a good start, 100%. And as for posting a schedule each week, if your schedule is inconsistent, I don't know if it's worth it if you don't know when you'll be live. If you have no idea, I think just giving people a general, like, I'm usually live around here and here, you know? Obviously, consistency is really good for growth, if you're able to, but yeah. Social media tires me out 100%. It tires me out too. Being very open about boundaries. I love redeems right throw hearts. Yeah, that one's fine. Yeah, that's the throwing hearts is fine. I'm also so behind him. So sorry. Eating the, yeah, exactly. I think so too. You're only friends if they send you a Discord friend request. Oh my, make it Discord official. The bully streamer mentality is lame. I think it's super lame. I think it's dumb. I don't think it's worth it. I think it's bad, and I think that you should stand up for your boundaries. If you're okay with people, like, I don't mind people you know, like joking around with me. I don't mind even like if there's a joke in my expense, if I think it's funny and I'm not, I think that's important. When you're joking with your community, I like my community to feel like we're just a bunch of, and I say this, I like it to feel like we're a bunch of friends. That does not mean we all are friends, but I like it to feel like you're in just like a group in your house with your friends chilling, right? I like the vibe to be relaxed in terms of like, I don't really take anything that serious unless it's a serious topic. And if it's a serious topic, we're going to fucking talk about it. And if it's something that like you're joking around and like a chatter, you're joking around at a chatter's expense or my expense, and it's clear that we are not we are not having a good time, that needs to be shut down like immediately. Like that is not okay. I'm slowly learning how to set boundaries sometimes. The mods help me with that. Yeah. See, yeah, it's good. Mods are super helpful. And I think it's also, this is a different topic, not really community based, a little, but your mods are there to help you. You know, if your mod team has joined you because they are there to help you, I think it's important that you give them like, here are things that I try when I moderate myself as the leader of the space. This is what I do. And then you let them know what is allowed and what is not allowed, because they'll be able to help you more if there's not as much questioning, right? Because if they have to go, oh, well, is this something that Rainy would have deleted or have taken out? Like there are times where my moderators just handle it. I come in and I look at the mod chat and they're like, yeah, we handled like 5 things today. I'm like, that's so nice. I'm so happy to have moderators that just handled everything. So highly recommend getting some mods and just being clear about like, hey, this is what I'm expecting out of you being a moderator. Here's what I want. Like for my mods, one thing that I was very specific about is I want my moderators to feel like they're part of this space. If you're a moderator and you never show up and you're only there sometimes, there's a high chance I'm going to talk to you about maybe leaving the mod team, because I want my mods to be known by everybody in the Discord, you know, very clearly. Like, hey, that's someone I can ask if I need help. This is I know where the ticket system is, and I know that the mods will be there to help me, type of thing. So, um, I had someone trauma dump on me out of the blue on stream, and the other day I had no idea how to handle it. He apologized after, but I felt bad. So in terms of that, what I've done is when I've seen somebody start trauma dumping, I just go, "Hey, I'm like super sorry that that happened." And maybe I'll give like a very short, brief, like depending on what it is, like you know, damn, that's bad. I here's how maybe you could fix it, and then I go, but this isn't really the place to be talking about that. I'm sorry you're going through that, but this is not it. You know, there's a time and place for everything, and it's not here. And I know it can feel bad to do that. But at the same time, it's like your space is not to be their therapist. And I don't mind if somebody's like, man, I've just been having a hard day. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry about that. You know, but if somebody's like, oh my God, my cat died, and then my mom also died, and then my father was in a car accident, I'm like, I'm really sorry that happened, but we're playing Zelda right now. You know, but like there's ways you can do it that have tact. But also somebody shouldn't be doing that. I'd probably also like delete the message. I'd probably be like, I'm sorry about that. I'm going to delete that because that can be triggering to other people as well, or like difficult for other people to hear. And that's not why we're here. So, oh, I think teasing, when relevant, sometimes is fun. Yeah, I think a little bit of teasing is different to me than like full on bullying. That's different. Like I tease my chatters, they tease me all the time, fucking calling me a zombie when I'm not a fucking zombie. All right. So like shit like that, I think is fun and entertaining. I like to look at Queso for that. Like Queso is a great example of like he jokes around with people. He doesn't mind being like, you know, the butt of the joke sometimes. But it's like everyone has a chill vibe about it. It's never really meant to be hurtful, but there's an understanding there of the boundaries. And I think that's why it works, right? The boundaries being respected is what matters. So, what's a good amount of time to put yourself out there to promote your Twitch or other creative work outside of streams? I would probably say if you could spend, and I know this probably seems like a lot of time, but like an hour each day just to like be on social media. Cause I think that's another thing is that like, I know that most people are like, oh God, it sucks to be on social media. Like trust me, if I could be a big streamer and just like, oh, the bot gives a troll a roll. Okay. So you'll need a bot. But I think that it's important to at least know what's going on. Even if like you're not active yourself, or can't be as active, you know, watching like there are some people that make like VTuber news videos. Sometimes they're just drama farming, but sometimes they actually just will give you a rundown of everything that happened that week or that month, which is nice because again, let's talk about this as a career. Obviously, if you do it as a hobby, this might not apply to you. But if you're doing this as a career, it is important to know what is happening with your, again, in quotes, coworkers, what's happening in your space, what is happening in the stream sphere, in the VTuber sphere, in whatever your little area is. It's important to know kind of what's going on. Because of the fact that like, you know, how are you going to do this full time or be a part of it if you don't know what's happening? So yeah, like 15 minutes. I'll have to go kind of more quickly through this stuff. But I say that when you can't control how other people respond to you, only how you say it. If you're worried about how people are going to perceive you, yeah, you have to say it. It's important. Big agree. Big agree. Do you think promoting a Discord server on social media is a good idea? I worry that it attracts people who only want to use your community rather than actually being a part of it. Okay, so I think yes. I personally think that posting about it on social media is fine. However, I think that right now, and this is just my opinion, do not have a self-promo space. Do not have a self-promo space in your Discord, in your space. And I'll tell you why, because that is, in my opinion, what people usually use to take advantage of your space. Now, my server works a little differently. Technically, we allow promoting of your own stuff in a very specific way. We do not have a self-promo where you can just post your Twitch when you're live. We don't have that. If you are a VIP, it will automatically like say that you're live in the roles, like in the, I don't know, the members thing. I have that set up because I don't want to be promoting people that I don't know their content, right? But if they're a VIP, then I do know their content. That's why I gave them VIP. However, if you are like, man, I'm an artist, I can't show my art, then it's like, no, you can show your art. We have the Creative Hub. You can show your art, but you cannot say, hey, I'm open for commissions. No, you can't say that, but you can share your artwork. And if somebody's interested in commissioning you or they like your style, you can talk in DMs about it. But my space is not going to be utilized for other people to use, I guess. Because early on, it was. I had friends at the time that would only use my space to talk about things that they were doing, or would only use the self promo, or would only do whatever. And it became very apparent to me that people were not using my space to be a space of, camaraderie. They wanted to use it to try and, I don't know, push their own stuff. And I think that's icky, in my opinion. So I got rid of that, and I saw a lot of people leave. Like a handful, like 5 or 6 people that like left after I got rid of that and I posted about it. But you know what? The space is better without them. And again, you only really want people in your space that are going to follow the rules, that are following the rules and want to actively be a part of it. And there are people who lurk. Like, don't get me wrong. If you're a lurker, that's totally A-okay in my server. But what I don't want is people who are only going to post when it's about them. If you just want to watch or whatever, or just like quietly be a member, that's okay. You don't have to talk. If you want to be an active member, that's okay too. What I don't want you to be is utilizing my servers or my spaces that I've built up as a space to, promote your own things. That's not okay. So, okay. So yeah, if you happen to have like a thing, you can do the onboarding and then you have to have a different bot give the role. Mm-mm. I don't know much about the Stream Elements hack. Actually, I heard that they weren't hacked. I heard they specifically were not hacked, but it was something else related to it. Apologies. No, that's okay. I would love to collab with other VTubers, but I feel it's hard for me to do in some way. I have played games with my friends, they're not VTubers by the way, and they notice I really speak when playing games. I feel like I don't want to talk over everyone, and I just focus on the game. In comparison, I yap tons when I stream solo. It's weird. It's a weird slope, but I'm which does anyone else feel this? I get quieter when I'm in really big collabs. I'm talking like 5 or 6 people. And I do that because I don't want to talk over anyone. I really don't like to do that. But I think doing smaller collabs, if it's just like 2 people, might be a good like move into larger collabs. Because I do think it's important that if you're streaming, especially your POV, people are there to watch you. Even if you're streaming with friends, or you're streaming with other VTubers, whoever you're streaming with, they want to watch you and they want to watch what you have to say and they want to watch the interactions that you're going to have. So while I think it is, it's not out of the normal, to maybe be quieter. I think maybe doing smaller collabs where you just are streaming with just one person where you feel like there's more space for you to talk and not talk over anyone is great. Plus, if I ever do talk over someone, I just apologize. I go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to talk over you. And sometimes there's Discord delay, which that's not on you or anyone in particular. That's just as a general. I'm so sorry that I'm getting to some of these questions a little later. This is also why I only took questions after the talk was over, because I knew that questions usually take a while. I need water. I think mod forms are great. I think it's important that if you're taking this seriously, that your mod team does too. Yeah, don't self-promote. I feel like that annoying promoting. I think there's a good boundary or balance. Sorry, balance. So when I promote my Discord server, the way I promote it is by saying, hey, we have an event happening, like with the event that I posted about, right? I was like, hey, I'm doing this content creator class and it's free, but you have to join the Discord server. I think telling people and promoting it when you have something actively happening is better than just like, hey, I have a server. It's like, well, what? Okay, well, why would I want to go there? What's going on? So I think it's good to like promote something that you're doing. Hey, we're watching this movie. Hey, we're doing this thing. Hey, we're having a tournament or something like that. So that also goes back into making sure you always have something happening in your Discord so that people have a reason or in your space to want to go, to want to join. So, good question about the mods. It seems goofy, but would it be fine to use auto mods? Yeah, that's fine. You can use auto mods, especially early on. I recommend auto mods a lot if you don't have a mod team. Because again, I didn't have mods for a long time. So I think I had auto mod stuff, and that's totally fine. What is some Twitch etiquette you think is important to abide by in a Discord server, especially between streamers and streamer friends? Twitch etiquette? Hmm. Twitch etiquette. I don't know if I understand that question, but that might just be me. Do you mean like and I'll have to scroll down. Again, I'm so far behind. I'm so sorry. Um I'll get back to this question. I will copy this question and then I will like get down to the bottom. What are your moments where you felt like your community was able to grow in a way that you took notice? I had a video do really really well. I had a video be seen by 1 million people, and that allowed me to be seen a lot, and it grew a lot. And I was, as that video was being seen, I actually posted more about my Discord server. I posted more about my streams because there were a lot more people on my Instagram at the time. Like at one point, just to be open and honest, I had over 100,000 people um, viewing my Instagram on a daily basis. And so I was like, okay, this is the moment. When you have something where there's a lot of like, uh, when there's a lot of like traction on your socials or on your Twitch or whatever, that's where you need to promote yourself the best, because, you know, people might only be around for the small moment. I mean, since then, my numbers have gone down a lot. I try, and it's hard for me to even have 10,000 people look at my Instagram. But at the same time, it's like, I was able to push my Discord and be like, hey, I'm streaming. I'm a streamer. You should come watch me stream. I was constantly posting to my story. I was posting more videos that told people about my Twitch. And that is where we grew a lot. Like we grew a lot in that space or in that time frame. Same for like when I was doing my subathon, I was posting like daily and I was streaming daily. And so I was letting people know, hey, by the way, if you like my streams, you might like my Discord server, right? Because we do stuff together there as well. So if you like hanging out in chat, you'll like hanging out in my server. So like having moments where you are seeing a lot of people in your space or you're posting a lot is great time to promote the spaces that you're actively in and that you want to see more people in. So I took notice a lot at that point. It's a good way to promote it. Just literally just posting about it, but also making sure that you're posting about like things that you're doing. Because if you just go, hey, I have a server, so does everybody else. You know, you gotta have something special to make people want to join. So like talking about those are good. Yeah, big agree. Oh, why does that happen? Here's my coworker. Well, you're very cool. People get responses in DMs. Huh? Wait, responses in DMs? I don't know. She's an invitation to know you more. You will do as I command. Yeah, it was very weird. It was also that was on that was funny enough. That was on Twitch Whispers. It was on Twitch Whispers. Otaku Bookworm, I love her. I love her so much. Yeah, we have a lot of community overlap because we do a lot together. Imagine being cool. One thing that really helped me as my very first collab with a fellow mutual, we went on a private VC to figure out the vibe. That's also true. A big thing that you can do, and this is like, you know, more related to collabing than it is to community, but whenever you are collabing with someone or multiple people, sometimes doing something off stream is a lot better than just jumping into a stream with them. Because maybe you like their content, but maybe they don't collab the same as when they stream by themselves. I think that's an important thing to note. But I'm trying to like catch up, but I'm so far behind. If I miss anyone's question, let me know. Difficult editing. Thank you all for coming, by the way. It's been really nice. I only have a couple more minutes, I realized, because I have to set up before stream. I will be streaming tonight, so if you're like, man, this was really cool. Rainy is really cool. I also will be live today. Yes. And so you're talking about streamers, and I'll be like, I'm sorry to hear that, but you're not professional. Exactly. Sir, this is a Wendy's. I know I've only ever played one Zelda game, but I actually think often about that Zelda game, and I'm like, man, I really loved Breath of the Wild. Love Queso. He's great. He's so great. One of the first VTubers I ever got into did it before she got rid of the channel together. Grab a couple of friends and play some Raft. Who made my PFP? Oh, that was Cass. I have auto mods, and honestly, it's really funny to see what is considered bad. Hi, Bagel. How are you? It's actually Uraka. Yeah, it is. It's cute. It's very, very cute. Um, Speaking of which, there's some good events. What are some good events around Discord? I know that movie watch alongs and this presentation is a good example. Gaming. So like community game nights is a great thing. I don't get to do as many of those. Just because I don't have a lot of time, but I sometimes do them for subs. I'm trying to get to a point where I do it once a month. If once a month for subscribers, is where we'll play something together. I think that's another benefit is if someone subscribes to you, like on your Twitch, or your YouTube, giving them access to special channels within your space where you maybe talk more openly or something is a great way to get people to want to join because they're already paying you. They're already supporting what you do monetarily. So thank you for doing this. Yeah, no, please never feel bad about coming late. This will also be available. I've been recording it, so I will put it up in about a week, probably. Give me some time to like maybe edit out some downtime parts or parts where I like said over the same thing, or maybe I'll just post the whole thing. But it's gonna be like 2 hours if I do that. I wanted to try and keep these shorter, but I also knew that like I really love getting to do the question answering because I get to hopefully help you guys out if you guys want them. And VC or whatever collabing, just make sure, yes, making sure you guys mesh well. Do music lesson parties? Oh, that's true. Yeah. Or just watch like work parties is another great thing. So yeah, for this, um wait. So for this question, so sorry. Okay. Sorry, I was going to try and rephrase it, but I think you mostly covered it. Oh, okay, good. Good. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm all caught up. I'm all caught up. Sorry, it took me a while. I didn't want to miss anyone's questions. If I did, I'm so sorry. I tried to more quickly go through you guys just chatting, but it makes me very happy that you guys are talking together. This space is the reason why I like to use Discord, and again, you don't have to use Discord, but why does it look like that? Wait, why does it look like that on here? It looks so normal, but it does not look normal on here. That's weird. That's crazy. I don't know. Wait, what's... Oh, it's green screened. Wait, why is it green screened? Wait, why? Wait, why is he green screened? Hold on. Is it this one? Filter. Oh, yeah. Why is there a chroma key? That's so weird. Okay, I fixed it. I fixed it. I don't know. It's weird. But I hope that I know some of you guys maybe just joined for these events, and we will have more of these events. If you guys have actually, real quick, I'm gonna make a little I'm gonna make a thread, I think. I'm gonna make a thread in content talk. Yeah, I'll make a thread in content talk. Okay. We're gonna call this create, and I'm gonna say questions for topics for creator class. Technically, I had an actual like please I had a form. I have to find it. I had a Google form that was specifically for people to give me questions or topics, and then I will, research them and come to you guys with like more information. Let me see if I can find that. I've been wanting to do these for a while though, so I really appreciate that you all have come in, and it means a lot to me that you guys want to learn some stuff. Here we go. Topic form, copy, and content. But if you guys liked this, there are lots and lots of people, just like you that are trying to learn stuff and, grow as creators. And like I mentioned before, while I don't technically have self-promo channels in my server, I don't want to stop people from sharing the cool stuff that they do. So if you have art, we have the Creative Hub. If you have, if you have like videos that you want to showcase, you're like, wow, I edited this really cool. We have, also the Creative Hub. If you want like feedback on something, we have the Tech Talk or the Content Talk channels. So thank you all for coming. I will be ending it because I do have to get ready for stream. Please be sure to check out my stream as I have that in like 30-ish minutes. It'll be a repo collab and just chatting, more talking. But Yeah, thank you so much for coming in. I will let you guys know the next time that we have one of these. Should be next Wednesday. And bloop, in oh, hold on. In goodness gracious, how do I make Discord small? There. Okay. There. Okay. In the content talk, contents, okay. There you go. In content talk, there is a topic for creator class. So if you guys have like specific things that you want, yeah, it's always a little scuff, but that's okay. If there's things you want to, you know, learn about or want me to cover, or if you guys just have questions, I'm totally always down to answer questions in content talk at any time, so you don't have to wait for these. Yeah, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your night, and I will be sure to post this soon, as well as the I will post in content talk or I'll make a class one. I'll make a specific class one, and I can put it in there. But have a great night, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye. See you later. Thank you.